Hello everyone, today is December 6th, 2007. It's been ages since I last vlogged, and so I figure I ought to get on here and do it now. Sorry I haven't been on recently, but the last couple of weeks especially have been tough, definitely. But it's been crazy all around because I've been working and completely way too stressed out, and literally way too stressed out. Been to the doctors, I had an EKG and everything, and it appears that everything is okay with my heart, but it seems that my body is staying in panic mode, kinda, and so I keep having heart palpitations and just overall not feeling too swell. So even though I think I feel better, my body is still in panic mode, and with me having to walk to work every day and be outside, plus I had some other stuff happen, a lot of excitement, plus this past 2 weeks, which I'll explain in a minute, having to deal with the stress of that, plus reconnecting with old friends. You know, it's just a little too much excitement for this body to handle, and my speech is not meant to doing right because either. I'm at Jen's right now, so I figure I hopped on here while she's in the shower, because I have this weird thing. I know that everyone's going to see my videos, but I hate recording them while people are listening or watching. I have issues. And so she's been off all week and I haven't been alone. So I figured I'll go ahead and record this now while it's somewhat quiet. Jen came over for Thanksgiving weekend, which Jen never stays over, so, you know, it's a miracle. But I went and I came and picked her up on the Wednesday night. I drove all the way out to Amesbury the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving by myself during rush hour. A little stressed. But I made it eventually, and after Jen trying to find her keys and everything, which she loses them all the time. She forgets she just put them in a different pocket, or she didn't look far enough in the same pocket. So after this little drama, sounds like she's knocking stuff over in there. So after a little drama, we got her back to the house. A little late, but we made it. We borrowed my uncle's truck. And then on Thursday, when we were just about to eat, Mom called us out to tell us the food was ready, and we get a call from Jen's brother. Now, her sister Cheryl, I believe I mentioned her before, plus there's a couple pictures on my DeviantArt gallery that are dedicated to her, of Jen. And so, a couple years ago, she had breast cancer, and she eventually beat it. Earlier this year, she found out that she had leukemia. In August, she had a bone marrow transplant, and she recovered fine. She came out of the hospital within 2 months. Then she got pneumonia. She beat the pneumonia, but she didn't. I don't think she left the hospital after that. She got an infection in her lungs, and so she'd been in the hospital ever since. So she'd been in there a while. And so her brother calls just as we're sitting down and tells us that she's not doing well at all, and they want her to go up and see her right away, which that can't be a good sign. So after we ate, later on that night, her brother came and brought us up there. And by then, she was already in a coma on life support. The machines were breathing for her because her lungs couldn't anymore. And they were hoping by doing that it would give her body a chance to focus on fighting the infection instead of just trying to use all the energy to struggle to breathe. But there was no such luck. On Sunday afternoon, noonish or so, they took her off life support, and she was gone within 15 minutes. And it's been tough, especially on Jen. I've never seen Jen so upset ever, which I knew was going to happen. That's her best friend in the world, you know. She called her every day, and they're partners in crime. And I knew that it was definitely going to be tough, but I've never seen her cry so much. She's a very private person, and her mom died, and her grandparents died, and you know. But when Cheryl died, it was hard. I mean, she was calling me like every 20 minutes for like 4 days straight, and then it eased up to like maybe once an hour, and so I hardly slept at all because I was just, you know, I didn't want to leave her there to cry by herself, and I didn't come up right away, which normally I would, but I knew that with everything that was going to be going on, it would be better just for me to stay home and be there for her on the phone, because then I was going to come up this week. So, Wednesday was the wake, and we had it was my job to email and try to tell everybody what had happened. People who online that I'm not sure I even was ready to talk to again, and I still managed to find, and some people that Jen wanted to find. Eventually we got all the people we could think of, but it was tough breaking that news. First just to update him to let her know that she had taken a turn, whatever, and then having to tell him that she died when the services were and everything. And good old Jen that we mentioned before, oh, I don't know if I've mentioned that on here since then. My other Jen. It used to be the Jen, my partner in crime in high school. We were crazy, but that was my Jen sandwich. I had two Jens, my two best friends, and but we had recently gotten back in touch. I just don't remember if I made a video about that. Yeah, I know it's been so long since I vlogged, but hey Jen. Anyway, 'cause I know she's watching these, but she came to the funeral, the wake. Why do they have a wake at a funeral home and a funeral at cemetery? I don't get that. It's like, why do you park in a driveway and drive in a parkway? Stupid things I ponder. Anyway, so she came that night, which I was about to leave because I've never seen so many people at a funeral. Oh my God! I mean, there was hundreds of people that came, and it was 4 hours, from 4 to 8, and I got a little lost on the way there, because I thought it was the funeral home that was down the street, and then, you know, I'm walking down the street, and these houses here are like 978, I cross the street, and these are like 700. What happened to all the houses in between? But I eventually turned around and saw it was right behind me on the other side of the street. So I was getting ready to leave about an hour later, because it was getting a little too packed. And so I'm out front. Normally I just put my gloves on as I walk down the street, and so I didn't. I waited a minute, put my little gloves on, and each finger just dilly-dallying, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see this walk. Jen has a very distinctive walk. Definitely. And so, excuse me. So I saw the legs from under the sign, the sign that said the funeral home's name, and I saw the legs, and I ducked under, and I forgot she had black hair again, and I saw her, and screaming, running after her. Was I not yet? And so, big hug and everything like that, and so we went inside, and I told her to wait a minute, and Jen was over in the receiving line, I guess you call it, and so I pulled Jen over and was like, and it took her a minute to register, and then all of a sudden she gets that face. Literally, that's exactly how she looked. And so she came running over, and we made it to the coat closet. I think she might have hung up her jacket, and I just threw mine on the floor. That's what I do. And I don't think we left the coat closet for the next 3 hours. So we just talked. Jen, I have to distinguish between the Jens. The usual Jen is, she went back out to the family and stuff off and on, and then she came in to escape. But me and the other Jen sat in the coat room on the coat, just talking and talking and talking. It was 2 hours before I even noticed what time it was. And then we left about 45 minutes later. And then Jen gave me a ride home, and she saw Mom. She called her out in her own way, and Mom saw her and was all excited and everything, came running down. And so we made plans to come up to Jen's in Amesbury this past weekend, and she drove me up, which is good because I didn't have a ride, so thank you, Jen.